Hello and welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Player Analysis. Make sure to like the video and subscribe. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. And yeah, the support recently has been fantastic. The support this year overall as well has been amazing. Today, we're talking about Lucas Paqueta. Yeah, we've been talking about a bunch of West Ham players throughout the international break because international break is boring. I watched England-Brazil yesterday. It was a very boring game with moments of greatness. And Paqueta was part of that. The technical ability compared to England and Brazil, you can tell there's, actual chemistry in that Brazilian team, even though they sacked their manager in the World Cup. I don't even know who their manager is. That back four, they had Danilo. I'm pretty sure that was the same Danilo from Man City. And they had some random people in the back four. And Lucas Paqueta looked like one of the best players on the pitch. And, the balls over the top, the freedom, the getting into the space, we know he's a right centre midfielder. Really? No, he really is. Remember Leeds away last season? We saw Paqueta come into light because he was having fun in number 8, linking up with Jarrod Bowen. That is where he needs to be. Right in the right number 8 spot. In the right number 8 spot. He can play a lot of positions. He can play technically right, wide, left, and right. You won't see the best of him there. We're playing him wide left sometimes. Now we're playing him in the middle because we're putting Kudus on the left. And I think that's benefited Paqueta a bit more. I do expect a bit better from him in certain recent performances from West Ham. And he will give the ball away a lot. But part of me feels like some of this is coaching. Part of me feels like some of this is just him. Because I do think that under a better manager we'll see, or a manager who likes to have players play with a little bit more freedom and a little bit more on the front foot, you will see the best out of Paqueta. Now, Paqueta actually likes playing under Moyes because he also likes to track back. He likes to work hard. He likes to kick the shit out of people. He likes to dive and win fouls. But you're never going to see the best of him on the ball unless, you play a bit more front-footed. Now, what we also need in the team is runners in behind. Jarrod Bowen is the only runner in behind, really. Kudus can run in behind, but that's not his game. We've seen it, the goal was against Wolves and stuff like that, but Kudus is not a man who really runs in behind unless he has to. Kudus wants the ball to feet. He can also create. And it's actually a blessing to have them two in the same team. Now, the problem is that the starting 11 is good, but it could be better. And obviously the league position right now on paper looks good. But honestly, if you want to put more cohesive performances together, the thing that surrounds the main players need to be better. Now, if Paqueta was to stay and somehow Man City did want to trigger his contract, trigger his release clause, which is probably going to happen, then Paqueta and Kudus need to be the two players that the team gets built around, them two and Bowen. Now, I've said this before where I've debated in my head whether them three can all play together. But the way them three all do play together, the formation becomes lopsided before Antonio came into the team, where Paqueta's on the left, Bowen's playing up front, Kudus is on the right, meaning that there's no number 10 really. Ward-Prowse is not a number 10. Souček in a number 10 is criminal because we're essentially just lumping the ball upfield and there's no chemistry whatsoever. So, let's say Paqueta was to stay. Let's say Kudus was to stay. Front-footed manager, them two and Bowen, and we actually invested the transfer window. Sounds good on paper. It would also take time, and we don't know who the manager is going to be in the summer. I'm going to assume it's not going to be David Moyes. But if, let's say, Moyes leaves and Paqueta leaves as well, we've not seen the best out of one of the better footballers we've seen in the past decade to play for this club. Now, if we're talking just pure footballers, in the time that I've watched West Ham, he's top 4, probably. Him, Lanzini, Payet, and Ravel Morrison. If we're talking pure footballers. Alex Song is actually up there. I'm just talking footballers. I'm not talking what they did for the club. I'm talking technical ability. The ability to... the individualism. Is that a word? I don't know if that's a word, but you know what I mean. Those are the 4. And he's one of the better players that I've seen at the club in my lifetime because I didn't get to see the greats. And we're going to waste him, really, under this manager. Because this manager wanted to play more front-footed football well, he said he wanted to be more attacking in the podcast, and he brought Mark Warburton in to play more front-footed football, brought the players in, brought the director of football in for front-footed football, Rob Newman and the Schumakers and Emerson, Paqueta, Kera, Areola, Downs, etc. Didn't really get to coach it because he doesn't know how to. And you could hear in interviews, even in this season, it's all about defence, defence, defence. You've got to have both. You can't be all-out attack. You can't be all-out defence. You can't be both. You can't be like just one way of the spectrum. Not that kind of spectrum, but that spectrum. The attack spectrum, the defence spectrum. You've got to have a balance. You've got to have a game plan. You've got to have a plan B. You've got to have a different approach to certain games. I'm not saying you have to be completely pragmatic where you have to change the game for every opponent, but what you have to do is not lose your principles, but be able to tweak. Now, to put this in perspective, if you're going full defensive, you're looking at the David Moyes is the I don't want to say Mourinho. Well, I'll say Mourinho. I'll put Mourinho in that because he's known to stifle players at times, but he's known to get the best out of the real men in his team. Diego Simeone in cup games can be like that, but I've also seen Diego Simeone kind of let his team play, so I can't really put that stigma on him. Let's argue Sam Allardyce. Sam Allardyce is very all-out defence, despite the first half of the last season, the 14-15 season at West Ham, where he played with the Diamond and played with Downing, Saka and Valencia in the Diamond. And then you go to the attacking side, and the people that are all-out attack is probably someone like a De Zerbi, probably someone like a Bielsa. That is an all-out attack manager. Like, I don't think De Zerbi will do well at a big club, and that's just my opinion. I think he is a good philosophy, but can he... It's not even about managing the big egos, it's the fact that he's got a lack of coaching and defence. And with Bielsa, you saw how open that his teams play. Now, with Paqueta and Moyes, it works in the sense that Paqueta he's one of them players that is a real man, but he's also a technical footballer. So he's got both. Before he came to West Ham, apparently he covered the most ground in Europe, in the top 5 leagues in Europe. So will Paqueta stay? Will Paqueta go? I don't know. I have a bad feeling that he might that release clause is going to get triggered, that 85 million. But you could argue it's good that we can reinvest into the team, but that means we've got another problem in terms of finding someone who's just a creative. Now we have Kudus, but we can't have Kudus as our sole creative player. Now Fornals and Benrahma now also played a 10 are gone. Lanzini's gone, so we need to find another number 10. Which adds on to the fact that we need a left winger, adds on to the fact that we need a striker, adds on to the fact that we need a left back to compete with Emerson, adds on the fact that we need a right back to compete with Soufal, adds on the fact that we need 2 centre backs. Really, we need 2 proper centre backs because Zuma's done. Again, it's awful. Mavropanos said here and there. We don't know if Fabianski is finally going to leave in the summer. His contract doesn't get extended by another year again. He might actually want to leave this summer, which will be upsetting. I would like him to stay for 1 more year, but because I reckon he's got 1 more year in him. But the main thing is that the Paqueta sell could damage a whole rebuild at the club. It could extend a whole rebuild that we will have to do in the summer. But this is all my opinion. He's a creative player. He needs runners in behind. He needs players to link up with. That's why I would have, unpopular opinion, would have liked someone like a Jadon Sancho at the club, because Sancho is a guy who likes to play 1-2s with players. Now imagine Sancho and Paqueta together. I reckon you'd see the best of Sancho in the Premier League and the best of Paqueta. But I don't know whether Sancho would want to come to West Ham, but I don't see why not. You know, if we're competing for Europe, I don't see why not. But I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. We're trying to hit that before the end of the year. Now, if you like this video, if you like these videos as well, please share it to someone who isn't subscribed. And hopefully, I'll have maybe some live videos, maybe some more uploads. We'll have uploads for the rest of the international break. So they'll be daily, etc. around the same time, around 5 to 8 p.m. So make sure I look out for that. And yeah, I'll chat to you guys later. Goodbye.